So you want to sell your business, or at least you're thinking about it. You may be close to retirement, you want to travel more, spend more time with family, or you may not be retiring and you want to pivot into a new opportunity, and the sale of this business is going to be the investment for that new venture. Whatever the case may be, I bet you the first thing you're probably wondering is, how much can I get for my business? What's my business worth? In this video, I'm going to touch on some key considerations for you to keep in mind as you decide to go down this exciting path of selling your business. Now, I'm going to start off by saying something you've probably heard before, which is the fair price for your business is what a buyer is willing to offer and you're willing to accept. Now, that's technically true, but I don't like that statement in a vacuum because it suggests that if you didn't know any better, you may accept a much lower price than what you could have gotten. Now, fortunately, there are guidelines and methodologies out there to help you come up with a purchase price to ensure that you can maximize the value of your business in a sale, or at least get close to it based on what the market deems fair. That should really be the main goal. All you're trying to do is not leave any value on the table for all the hard work you put into your company over the years. So what are these valuation methods? Well, there are several, and the one you'll want to use will depend on several factors, like the size of your business, the industry you're in, and even how you're running or structured your business. If you head over to our resources page, we actually have several guides, tools, articles, videos that break down each of these methods and even provide you examples. And those are all free to download, or you can schedule a call with us and we'd be happy to walk you through each of these methods and even to give you our take as to which one we think would fit your business best. But just to give you a flavor, I want to touch on one of the most common valuation methods used. It's probably the one you'll end up using. It's called the multiple of earnings method. Now, we could spend more than an hour on this. It can get a little complicated, but at the highest level, it entails taking your operating earnings or operating profits. Some people in the small business world call it your cash flow. After deducting all of your operating expenses, taking that number and multiplying it by a factor to get total value. Now, what that multiplier or factor will be will depend on a few things, mainly the size of your business, but also the industry and definitely the market dynamics, supply and demand, basically what companies similar to yours have been selling at. Generally speaking, small businesses at the Main Street level, those producing a few $1 million in sales or less, they're typically going to end up in the range of between 1 and 3 as the multiplier, which means that you would multiply your operating earnings number by a number between 1 and 3. So let's say that your company produces $400,000 of operating earnings in a given year, and we're working with you to help you sell your business. We may determine that a factor of 2 is appropriate based on our research of the market and the industry, which means that you could list your company at $800,000 in this example, $400,000 times 2, or at least that would be a reasonable starting point. Another important point to note here is that when I'm talking about earnings, I'm really talking about adjusted earnings. So not the operating earnings number you get from your bookkeeping system, not the profits that you report to the IRS. What we have to do here is what we call in the industry normalize your earnings, which means to ignore or adjust out anything that is non-essential to the cash flows of your business. It could be non-recurring items like a big one-time expense that you had that you're not going to have again or not for a very long time, or items that are personal in nature, like, for example, let's say that you drive a Mercedes-Benz and you're charging that cost to the books of your roofing company. Well, we all know that a Mercedes is not essential to run a roofing business. So in this exercise, we would be removing that expense from the calculation of your adjusted earnings, effectively making your earnings bigger, which means a bigger value. Usually these adjustments are helping your earnings be bigger, but that's not always the case. But again, the point here is that we want to represent the financial picture, the financial performance of your business in its ordinary course, as what a new owner can reasonably expect to continue upon purchasing your company. To round off this discussion, I want to touch on just a couple more points related to setting your expectations for the sale process in both timing and deal structure. First things first, it can take a while to sell your business. The quickest processes can take a few months, but it could also take up to a year, and that will depend on several factors. But it's good for you to be aware of that. And more importantly, you should continue running your business as if you were going to stay. Why? The last thing you want to do is raise any red flags for a buyer who is months into evaluating your business. Maybe they're in the due diligence phase, and they're going to ask you for updates on your company performance to make sure that it's still the same as what you represented. So it's important for you to continue operating your business. Don't let off the gas. Don't let the performance dip, because it could actually affect the valuation of your company. They may want to then negotiate the price down because they're assuming more risk, or may back out altogether. The second thing is that you have to keep an open mind as to how you get paid for the sale of your business. It is a fact that most small businesses, about 80 to 90% of small business sales, have some seller financing structure attached to it. Now, what does that mean? It means that you get paid a portion of the price at closing and a portion over time. For small businesses, it's usually 1 to 2 years. This could be because the buyer doesn't have all cash up front and needs help financing the business. It could also mean that if you're going to be helping transition the company, it's a way for the buyer to share the risk with you in the first couple of years as you help set the business up for success in its new hands. And just because you're offering seller financing, it doesn't mean you're getting a bad deal. You're gonna get paid interest on the portion that you finance. Sometimes you may be able to negotiate a higher price for offering this help. And frankly, it may also be the difference between you being able to sell your business or not. So it's important for you to be aware of that. Take some time to calculate what your financial requirements are in your personal life from the sale of this business and the timeline of that, so that you can be adequately prepared to negotiate a deal that makes sense for you. And that's really it. Well, hopefully you got some value out of this high-level discussion on these topics. Check out our resources page for more content, or schedule a call with us, whether it's helping you understand these topics better, or if you want to get an initial take on valuation. These are services that we offer complimentary. So call us if you're ready to sell your business. We're happy to talk to you as well. At the end of the day, this is our area of expertise, and we want to make sure that you're set up for success.